Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Brian Mogul, and I'm resuming Dinner in a Solo. Bring you up to date. I haven't announced this one. I'm just seeing how many of my friends are following me. No, I'm not kidding. I'm kidding. My hands are probably at 80% of what they should be, but I'm finding that it's good enough to get working on songs again. If I'm not going to go into it because it's a long story, but I was allergic to medication that gave me neuropathy in my hand to the extent where I couldn't button my shirt or hold a cup, much less play with any precision on the guitar. I couldn't even make a chord. For 2 months, I've been held hostage against my natural-born skill and desire to play music. So this is kind of an epic thing. I've done some... That's okay. That's a balloon that Jen bought me. Is it direct? Okay. So anyway, slow connection. Huh. Anyway, I had this reaction to it. I was off for 2 months, and I found out that in those 2 months that my calluses disappeared, and that I had to reestablish the thought of finger pain when you're playing things that you wrote that you could play very simply. I played quite often when I wasn't battling this, but it's on its way out. I was hesitant about things, and I even canceled my appearance at a couple shows in advance, because I didn't know if it would be permanent. And apparently there are a lot of cases of this, but the permanent is rare. But you never know, and I don't like to commit to things unless I can really do them. So what I'm going to do tonight is just jam on some stuff that's not too fast. My precision isn't back. My vibrato, my pinching, stuff like this, things I use that are body functionally mediated. Like I don't use pedals. I don't try to get my squeak other than pinching the string, and that produces a squeal that amps will spend a lot of time trying to simulate, so that you hear it in artists that aren't really able to do the squeal. And it may be a good thing that they don't have to. I mean, unless you, as an audience, you're looking for that squeal, right? It doesn't matter whether it's produced artificially or whether it's an old school physical muscle memory thing. Whatever it is, you just want to hear good music, and anything beyond that's going to lessen your attention span. So let me get right to it. I'm going to do some jamming. If I think the jamming's working out, I'll move on to a couple others that I have stored here, including new stuff. And I just wanted to mention the shows coming up first, real quick. And I want to talk about Torso for a second here. That last night I went out to Last Exit, it's quite a ride, and saw some great friends that I know. Some I haven't heard in forever, haven't seen in forever. And Torso just knocked it out of the park. Every time I see them, they're like a leap or an exponent better than they were. That's Jeremy Niffen is the bassist. He's the guy that Eamon, I don't know if you know his real last name, Eamon Torso, trained from not playing. The guy didn't play bass. He didn't have any. He wanted to play bass, and he wanted to play in a metal band. And Eamon took him, gave him the boot camp, threw him on stage, and I was there the first night. And that guy was just born to do that. And congratulations, Jerry, on all you've done, and all you've done for training him, Eamon. Eamon's voice, one of the big reasons I like Torso is Eamon's got a really good speaking voice. You want to hear him. It's got a cadence to it and a subtlety, and it can even hypnotize you. He sings like he talks. And that's what you like. He's not trying to do screaming or anything like that, but he's doing something. This has helped me because I'm getting some more reviewers this way, so I don't mind if I finish my story. Yeah, these guys killed it. Phil Hernandez, who I always thought was one of the best drummers around, he was in so many bands back in the day that I don't think he got to shine for what he really, because if you ever have more bands, whether it's a good thing or whether philosophically you want to argue with it, you are able to, if you play with a lot of bands, you save the day more, it's a good thing. But when you play with one band, you have a focus on nothing but that music, and it probably bores the crap out of you because you only played it to 1,000 people, but it's got to be 1 million before you make any money out of it, for instance. But it's the same kind of thing. When he got locked down into Torso's grips, he learned to take what he had and turn it into a weapon. I mean, it's just like every stroke of his stick, his little playing around things in between notes, so, that a lot of people can pull off now and then, but their drumming isn't as. He's a severely ferocious drummer, and I am just excited that he came from my bloodline for music. He was the Ankh Alien drummer for as long as we had a drummer, and there are others have played. But he was the guy, and he's the guy I go to for all live performances, and I see if he's available, and sometimes I decide to not do the show because he's not going to be on the live one, and you'll be seeing him and Torso and Jeremy and Eamon and me in all our glory at the Face Melter Jam on May 23rd. Pity the poor fool plays against that. Yeah, I mean, you only want to call in sick just to get out of the. No, just kidding. Just it's at the Blues, and we got the best bands ever. And that's that's my second show from now. The first show is actually not my show anymore. It's April 11th at the Blues. It is my show, in fact, but I'm just not playing it. This is something that I have no familiarity with. I have always been playing on the shows I do as a protection that I get the bands as much promotion as I can do. Now, if I'm not playing, do I drop the promotion? Not intentionally, but I become less, I think about the show less. I mean, surely I have to bring people. I have to bring 20 or 30 people to a show to make it successful for the bar, right? Because you have to have a minimum amount of people drinking, or else the bar can have something that pays off better. And this is why I like the Blues. These guys let us do, Jen, the owner, lets us do what we want. We bring in food. We work the door ourselves. We don't break the rules, and that's why she okays it. But we went too far with her a couple of times, like she wanted me to move something or whatever. We're lucky to have the Blues. And not just lucky, it's a good place. 30-some years, 34 years under the same name of doing the same thing, being a hero to original music people. This is an important concept to support. And it hasn't been the same owner. And Jen's had it for 10 years. The guy before that had it for 16 years, I think. And then in 1994, it started. It started and burned down within weeks, I think, and then they had to rebuild it. But it's been nonstop since then. And look at the best bands that we have there. I can book Sectus there. Tuna Chest is there. Torso. I mean, those are 3 of the top 5 bands that I know that are that kind of music, live kick-ass rock or metal, if you want to call it that. And by the way, musicians, be aware that when you say metal, you're excluding a whole bunch of people who think that you're playing a different kind of music. Now, if you're Adam Spleen, or if you're even Don, you can expect you're going to have some barking growlers in the lineup, or it's going to be very death metal. They even have a doom and death show, Phoenix Famous. You know what it is, and I know what it is, but the audience thinks it's freaky. It's like when I recall not being allowed to go to Blue Oyster Cult when I was 14 because they thought it was a cult, and that I was doing, it never occurred to me to clarify it. I did actually go anyway, but anyway. It's been a great last week. I'm not feeling the best. I still have a little neuropathy, and I got I've lost a lot of weight. I have stage 2B cancer, so it's going to take, we're just going to yank it out. We're going to have it taken out right back here. It's supposed to be small. And I should be back. I should be walking home the next day and back on the stage by that night, because it's not that big of a deal. So I don't understand why I should subject myself to more of these chemicals. Anyway, I'm getting off the point. All that stuff going on with these bands and everything, we can bring really good bands into the Blues, so it's a good place. That's why I spend all my time there. I dedicated this year to giving it all I had to getting it back up to the reputation it had. And I think that having 3 of the 5 best bands in the valley of that would play a bar like that, to have them play is a stamp of validation. Two in the Chest has got a huge stage show. I'm sure they have to cut it down just to play there, but I'm telling you that the people that go to the blues are more conscious and will spread the word more about your band or our show or the bar, because they are well, whether that or they're just the ones coming to my shows, I don't think so, though, is that I just run into every single person there is rooting for the band to do well. They know the names of the bands, the names of the people playing them. They know they've been to show after show, and they will do that until the blues survives on its own without Brian Mogul or Adam Spleen or anybody to do it. And by the way, I'm working with Phoenix Famous, so if you're not a big fan of Phoenix Famous, you may find out that we're close. We don't really, we tell each other everything. There's no hidden secrets. I tell them when I got a band coming up. They tell me, they ask me to help. They ask me to do promo. I ask them to help, and the same thing. It's a really great thing. And, I've never had that relationship with anybody else who booked opposite me at the same club. And I haven't had much experience booking, really. I mean, the Blues and Focal and some other places, the Rogue Bar, which I did well at all of them. And I also want to say thank you to Phoenix Famous for bringing in Chase the Comet, who had a huge impact. I saw David and Christian from Sectus there, and they presumably either knew the band to be very good, which they are, or caught my promo and looked at the link or listened to it, because they're a phenomenal band. I mean, just phenomenal. And I feel really bad about one thing. I didn't get to see who Tony was, but I did meet him after he performed. I got there late. I got there in time to see Heather Ann Zahn and her band Cadbury. And if you remember back when I'd had her and Lex singing, they were looking to do some kind of a band thing, and I was helping them as much as I could. I gave them stage time, and they did real well. And they sang together. I don't think many of them sang by themselves, but either of them did. But then and Lex went on to get a band. I had no doubt she was going to do that because I knew her from Roadhouse Royalty. And I just knew she could take something and run with it. And she's a spokesperson who doesn't feel comfortable speaking it, I think, but because of that, her articulation is adorable, and she empowers you to want. She can cause a riot with her serenity. It's really unbelievable. And she's just starting out. And then Heather, however, has been singing for a very long time. And she did some touring when she was a kid, one of those child star things. And she's probably thinking now that she doesn't have any ties to staying home, like she's not raising kids or any of that, that she wanted to get out and try to rediscover that kind of thing. And I felt really horrible, and I apologize again to you, Heather, I was supposed to play on that set. And I knew I couldn't play on that set. When that set happened a few days ago, I couldn't play guitar. It was only, I think, the day of, it was 2 days ago or something that I first was able to do a lead on a guitar, much less do somebody else's music properly. And if I had been there, more people would have come. However, it wasn't a well-attended show, but I guess it was a very well-attended show. When I think of it, of the 20 to 30 people that were there at any one time, and more in and out, that every one of them was some kind of was in the machine of what we do locally for our bands. There were the bands themselves, like Sectus coming. I got 17 Seconds of Fail. When these guys pay attention to bands, it makes a big difference for the band. They post about it, and Richard Brockway doesn't play but like 5 times a friggin' year, 3 times a year, but when he says he's going to a place, because you know him and you know the kind of music he likes, this is the guitar player for 17 Seconds, that people go. People follow him just because of his advice. And I imagine that happens with some of us more than others. Anyway, now I'm going to play, and I'm going to just drop the point. But that's why I'm at the Blues all the time, and that's why I'm coming back. April 11th, I'll be doing 2 songs there during this show with Teskey and Hypervisor and Beehive, and there's one other one, I think. No, I think that's it. I think I gave each of them a longer set because I wasn't going to play. But now I've taken it back. I'm going to play 2 songs, I think, between the 2 big bands, Teskey and Hypervisor. Skywinder Music was a late edition. That's why I didn't remember. Those guys are extremely good. This is a night where this is the one coming up. The night where all the guitar players, it's called the League of Extraordinary Guitarists because they're extraordinary. They're not just shredders. Some of them aren't shredders. It's what they play that makes them unique. These guys are blues masters. I mean, it's not like anybody I know can touch them. And they're all better than I am. They don't maybe have as much of a reputation because they're not playing stuff that is radio rock or anything like that like I do. I have my own covers that aren't covers, right? Beethoven's Fifth, that's a cover. Swan Lake, that's a cover. It's a cover 400 years old for Beethoven or something like that, or Bach, for instance. Yeah, 500 years old for Bach. But they're covers. They're songs to recognize. Da-da-da-da. I'm not ready to play that, but I'm ready to start a jam. So let's try that. Now, I'm turning the volume up. Just a little, though. I need to feel it move my bones. This is Black Sabbath. Well, that's one jam. Let me try another one. Hey, the very nice, cool thing to say, Jimmy, and I am on Sedition Records, as a matter of fact. You can look that up. It's spelled like it sounds, or spelled like it's supposed to be. And that's on the internet. Jimmy Boggs is the proprietor of that. He's been part of a lot of things for local music. He's always created a forum and a platform for local music to be heard. AZ Radio was one of them. There was AZ Radio Live, I think. There was other stuff. But if you go to Jimmy Boggs' website, you'll probably find links to all of it. And I agreed to be one of the artists on his label, which is distributed all over the world, just by virtue of the internet, it is. But yeah, I guess there's just some popularity there. Let's go to the next one. That was a Black Sabbath song called Caravan, Planet Caravan. So we're going to mute that. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? Rock Sabbath. What's that? Rock Bottom. All right, the next one's a change a bit, but it's a jam too. I've had a long time association musically with Michael Schenker, having played in a tribute band to him, and having done live band performances with Schenker music. And I write a lot like Schenker used to. Some of the older stuff that I pull out of the bag would have sounded like Schenker wrote it. And I have a thing where I don't listen to national bands. I never have. The most albums I've ever had of people's music have been 3 or 4 collections, and they were all Scorpions, Judas Priest, Michael Schenker, Yuli John Roth. It's all one thing. Now I've spent a lot of my life not doing that. I was in a military band where we played for generals, so we had to learn the current hits of 1980 or 74 to 80. And then there's also school bands and that type of thing, and you don't get to play rock in those. And rock to them is 25 or 6 to 4 by Chicago, which is a great song, but not the extent of the hardness of my rock. So we're going to listen to now Rock Bottom. I don't know how I'm going to do on this, but I'm going to probably join it. There's going to be, we'll see how it goes. I don't want to defeat myself. I'm not playing badly. I'm just not playing as well as I want to. Hold up. Is that all right to say?
Seven
I played it worse and better. But it was the first time I've been able to really get through the whole song because it's perfectly up my fingers now. I get crazy glue on the tips of them. But you don't want to do that too much because but you don't want to do any practice too often because what'll happen is it'll kill you, like aluminum pick in Eddie Van Halen's mouth for 30 years. Who would have guessed that those deposits were going to give him a cancer of the gums? Although, who's going to prove that it wasn't the probably 200,000 cigarettes he smoked either, and the drugs, and all the good stuff. Okay, so let's see what else we got. All right, now I'm going to try this one because I'm going to play it at the Blues Show coming up on April 11th with Teskey and Hypervisor, Beehive, and Skywinder. Again, if you're joining me late or you don't know, these are the best guitar players I know. They are far ahead of the metal players. Now, when you say everybody can't play metal, I can play anything. So that's different, though, right? Like, I came from disciplines of country and pop and brass and orchestral and all that. And the last thing on my mind when I turned 16 was heavy metal until Jim Baer from Texas had played me the first heavy metal song I ever heard, and it was Black Dog by Zeppelin. At that time, only 6 or 7 years after its release. And that changed my life. You talk about influences, Screw Schenker and all that stuff. This guy, Jim Baer, got me wondering how that sound came out of the guitar. And I had to research it. I knew nobody in the field. And it was the 70s. And I ran away from home, and I got legal right to stay out of there because they were trying to convert me into religious areas that I didn't want to go, and not my immediate family, but the people that we were stuck with in upstate New York. So basically, that was my cover story. The real reason, because she said, I defy the government to tell me I can't send you to church. And she wanted me to go to church. I was 17 years old. I was already smoking pot. I was already... I was a bad kid, and maybe she thinks that would have helped. I probably would have helped now. I would have got in on some of that money for the guys who got bad touched in the confessional. But it didn't work out for me, so I got emancipated youth status from the state of New York through the county courthouse and moved out at 16 and a half years old, or 17, I think. Anyway, that was what I had to do. My mom had died. She had cancer. She died a long, long time ago. My dad had died by my fourth birthday. So it was live with them or fend for yourself, and that's what I did. And I'm telling you about a rock and roll, you kids. Listen, you kids. A rock and roll time where you got pulled over because you'd have a band bumper sticker on your car. They'd be looking for pot, and they'd have every right to do it because you were wearing a Grateful Dead shirt. Or the more extended version of this is that I was pulled over because I had all those amps sticking out of my car. And I was like, they weren't sticking out. You could see them in the back window, Marshall and all this other stuff. But you got pulled over if you thought you were playing in a rock band. And they didn't let you go or just take a rain check on a performance or even... Well, cops back then certainly took a good tip, but I didn't have that kind of money. So it wasn't, without all the... I know people, one of the best guitarists I know is Conrad Varela, but he's never had to buy a guitar. I had to go without food for a guitar. I seriously did. And so did Jimmy DeMarco, my roommate. We had to buy gear that made us as good as the other bands, and we would eat a ramen noodle a night and live with it. And we would collect quarters from all our friends' cars. If we would clean their car, we'd collect all the quarters under the back seat, put them together, and go see Ronnie Montrose and Gamma. That's the song I'm playing on the Blues Show, too. Conrad would buy his own guitars now, yeah, but he had 11 Charvels and all that power, all the people. I had family saying, you got to get away from that music. It's making you do bad decisions in life. And, I just don't want to hear it anymore. They had the most bizarre thing. But I don't hate them for it. Oh, and yeah, by the way, this afterlife thing. Am I going to have to actually go see these people if I die? The same ones that I avoided when I was alive. Do you think I have any better All right, she doesn't want me talking about this, but that's my point. Is that you don't know? Scott, how are you, man? 17 Seconds to Fail is coming up on April 18th with the Reverend Jack Black's. Well, you know, I got shit for saying he was the late Reverend Jack Black, but he is the late Reverend Jack Black. The Reverend Jack is a dead gunslinger, born in 1824 or something, died in 1855. We're celebrating his 154th birthday, I think. So it's not like I was saying, you know, there are some people that are in their idiom. They are the person they act like. We wonder about the Joker and that guy, but generally speaking, Vincent Price. You'd think Vincent Price has got that he tortures people in his dungeon, or Ozzy really worships the devil, and they're so good in their roles, and Rich Cornelius is so good that he's accepted as not the reincarnation, but the physical body of a dead gunslinger, born in the early 19th century, who led a bad life in this purgatory, where everything you did in your life is accountable to you, and everybody's out to get you, and then I realized that purgatory is really Arizona, actually, when I thought about it. Because I've been to other states. You know, there is life outside Arizona, and they enforce their laws for everyone, not just for the chosen few. But anyway, it's his birthday, and it's a big deal. It's always been a big deal. He does it every year, and they don't play it out very much. They play in Tucson like twice a year, and maybe 4 times a year up here. So the Blues is honored to have them there, and I've been sharing their poster, and I'm going to make a video for them in the next couple of hours for the show. And I forgot where I was going with that, but yeah, they're in character. That's what I was saying about the Reverend Jack Black. We have very different views on the world, on religion too, but we've had serious discussions about it. I mean, and we've helped each other in a lot of cases, and I don't think either one of us want to be the other, but I think that we both recognize each other as having a right to their perspective. So I invariably will not miss a show like that. In fact, if you want to know the truth, the Face Melter Jam was going to be on that day, and I gave it to him because it was Jack's birthday, and moved the Face Melter Jam to the 23rd of May. And there will be one or two of you that come for that, because you never look at Facebook, and you don't know that it moved. And I'll be there to talk to you and tell you to come back. But it's really worth the time to go there. I don't know, Scott, how much tickets are. Whether you buy them in advance, you get those novelty collection tickets. I have several. And I had the good fortune of playing at one of his birthday shows, possibly two. I'm thinking the other time I played wasn't his birthday show, but we don't know. And I got my very first show. Show and it was a paid show. But it wasn't really, because I gave the money back to Jack. See, I just called him Jack, and I know his name's Richard Ornelas. So, you know, who is he? So the late great Jack Black is the lead singer, songwriter, and the composer and brain behind Two in the Chest, which is the only entirely original. It's not Southern rock. It's heavy metal. If there's a twang of Southern in it, which I think almost all the bands here have to some degree. That was a signature I thought Arizona had when I first arrived. I was like, oh yeah, these guys go to that chord change a lot, the original music. And then I understood. Now I do. You know, it's just what happens. But yeah, they're 1 in a million, and if you haven't seen their show, you got to go, because it really is. This guy is so into it; he believes every word he's saying, and he's saying all those words that are based on like life experience and the kind of thing that a gunslinger back in the Old West would have said if he was being held in check by God between heaven and hell. Just those kinds of things. So he sells his religion through this music, more or less, or his philosophy of religion through the music. But he is, in fact, a minister, and he's definitely what do they call them? Evangelist. That's somebody who's charged with overseeing or recruiting your support for their religion. And in spite of all that, even if you don't have any notion of God at all and go to his shows, you're going to love it because it's super fucking great music. And that's all it was. And I regularly have given gigs out and have invited many times people who I don't get along with, who had, I had problems with them because I disagreed with their ethics in a band thing. But as long as they didn't do anything really bad, I always would offer the. Some of them will never take a gig from me. They'd rather die without ever playing a song for somebody than play with me. But they're very rare. There's like 5 people out there. But that 5 joined a club or something back about 10 years ago and drove me out of the indie music scene. Thank God, because you get sick of playing things that are less than 3 chords, 4 chords. In fact, one of my songs about indie music was Masters of 4-Chord Progressions. There's a song I wrote called The Ballad of No Talent. And I performed it for these people the day they threw me off the stage, and I ran into Erica Broker's hands, the promoter chick, the late promoter chick and late singer. She got a singing career right before she died. And I fell right in her hands. She said, I know just the guys you want to see. And she told me to come to a bar. I went and saw her at Joe's Grotto. I met Ken. I met Christian. I met all the heavy. And Christian, by the way, that band Sextus, that was the first rock band I saw in this whole state. I used to think that all the music here were these guys that sounded like Elvis playing acoustic electrics with Birkenstocks, singing about how their female trashed them, or exactly the opposite with the men or women, and everything in between. And I had fun, I thought, until I realized what was going on. And basically, I got dissed from bands for over promoting and overplaying. One band blocked me because they had a show with me and I was tagging them all the time. And they said, yeah, we had to cut you off, man. Like 3 posts a night. And I was like, 3 posts a night? I do like 20 posts a night. I was wondering why they didn't get the notifications. But anyway, let me try another one. I have no idea what I can do, what I can pull off. This is, I might run into one that I forget. Because I play all the time to keep up with them. My point, though, is that I'm not done playing. I had 2 months where I couldn't play guitar, and I lost my calluses, and now I'm a little bit, I'm catching up good, I think. Let's see. Do one more. I still need an hourglass. Anyway, 17 Seconds to Fail is playing that show, and if I know that band, they're going to be starting around 8 and playing the 8:40. Now, it might be plus or minus a little, but they're not closers. They always do that same spot. And we make special arrangements with them to do it. And I think they have another show coming up in the fall. And you guys, Scott, why don't you jump on something I have in September or August if you want. I got a shitload of them in October, too. But if you want to jump on something where you guys have the same arrangement as you usually do. Yeah, they're a hot band, man. I've watched them undergo changes, but I told Scott when that blonde-haired singer, who was incredible, he was an impressionist, though. He wasn't a singer. He would do impressions of vocalists, but he would nail them. Like, I was very fond of his Willie Nelson and stuff like that, but he had a thing for Alice in Chains that got the band to play a whole album worth of the stuff. And it wasn't, they were considered good, but original bands are considered by musicians, by your friends, right, and your followers, as being better than covers. And I never even knew they had originals. And then they get rid of the guy, or the guy quits, or whatever. They had some problems because they're sensible people, and I'm sure that every complaint I had heard about them, about his singer, I heard from somebody else before I heard it from the band. So it was like he got fed up with them. And so they come out after a long time of nobody knowing what to expect. The singer gone, nobody singing as far as we knew. And it was better. It was like Primus. It was like a whole nother world of music. And they were finally free. And what a relief it must have been to not, because I love singers. You guys see that I do a lot of work with singers. Wrong. I do a lot of work with people that I like. Ray Kuhn is an excellent singer, probably the best male singer I know. And I like working with him because he and I are exactly on the same page about how to get it done, what we're doing. Any argument we had, we would say, all right, well, fuck it, then we won't do that. And then we would do it for each other. And Emily is a different case because she's coming from a different school of music. She was into musicals and what else? Theatrical stuff. And she sang an Italian opera for me. Without even looking at the words, based on a backtrack I pulled up. And she had a great history of that. Had never done a rock song. I mean, the hardest rock she had ever really done was with her own punk band, the X's. And it was still literate. I mean, she's a wordsmith and she's a great singer, but we were born to disagree because we have no idea what each other's background is, and we've been flexible to keep that without having as much as a person-to-person argument in 3.5 years or 3 years, and that's a record for me. I mean, the longest I was ever with a vocalist, it was 26 days, I think. No, I was with others off and on, and one or two that put up with my dominance. I mean, because, you know, it depending where you're coming from, if you know something ain't right, like, you know, you're going to argue. And the singers are tough, man. Everybody isn't a good person either. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying singers are worse or anything. I'm just saying I have very little tolerance for them. So the ones you see me working with are people that are exceptional singers that they'll have a future because they got through Brian's boot camp, you know? I don't know. Let me see what I got, and then we're going to go. But, yeah, that was well done, Scott Halk, and well done, 17 Seconds to Fail, on because he asked me, I think we were talking on the phone, and I said, oh, you don't need that guy. What are you talking about? And it dawned on him that the real talent of the band was in the musicians. I mean, I can get somebody to sing Alice in Chains. I mean, I could probably even fake a couple lines by it. But I can't get people to play like that. And to play shit that they don't normally play and excel at it. And then sit their own songs on the back burner so some sissy singer is going to complain. It was that. The guy never gave him more than a commitment of a week because he was getting married and going to Canada, something that never happened as far as I know. But the further he is from them, the better they're off. They are further, and the same with me because when he finally did contact me after leaving his band, he was going to play on one of Emily's shows. It may have led to him leaving the area, but he signed on to it, and then he didn't like what he signed on to, and it was so late we couldn't replace him. So Emily replaced him with her boyfriend, and who did a better job than he would have. But anyway, here we go. I'm going to find a song here, and I'll play and get the hell out of here. I'm late already. I got one song, Dan. Then we'll go. Pack your bags. Is that the song? Oh, I got it. Don't worry. No, was any of these play? Well, that's not bad for first time in a long time. Hi, Patty. Oh, yeah, I'm getting it back. I couldn't touch the guitar for 2 months, I'm telling you. My fingers felt like they were all like I was wearing boxing gloves, or I was picking up a coffee or trying to button my shirt. I really had come to the point of accepting the fact that I would not play guitar ever again, and I would pass my skills and experience on through lessons and continuing to do shows, and sadly watching everyone else play but me. And my whole life has been like that, and I said, fuck it, I ain't doing this, I'm not getting chemotherapy. Now, fortunately, there's alternatives to it. Not really. I mean, they're either going to cut it out, or they're going to blast it with chemicals that are going to get you sick. But I have more than a sickness. This is a reaction that put me in the hospital to their stuff. And I'm happy to say that more days between me and that first and last injection I got are better days. Every single day has been better than the last. I've had some reflares of this. Like, I started playing last week early, or maybe 2 weeks ago, and I was still stumbling too much. And now what you're hearing is I'm forgetting what the song did. So, I'd have to feel my way around. All of this, what you've heard tonight, entirely is improv. These are things that I've not practiced, and I have not heard some. And I just made up the solos on the spot based on having done this for, the better part of 40 years. I think that, or better part of 38 years, 40 if you include when I really sucked. But thank you for following me. Thank you, everybody who's been cheering me on. Thank you for those who said, well, you might want to start thinking about doing something besides playing. Even you guys, assholes. I get great delight in proving people wrong when I believe that they were wrong for the wrong reason. Like, if you think you're going to heaven or hell and you're wrong, well, that's one thing. We don't have any proof, so that was your faith. But if you think that you're going to be jumping off a building and landing well, and it's more than 2 floors, then you're in a different world. There's a difference. And, I don't give up on myself that easy, but I think it was all your support and the letters and things and the willingness of you guys to, and wondering where I was, and I didn't want to answer because I didn't know if I could play anymore. And I thought that most of what you guys liked about me was my proficiency on guitar, and that only goes now if you're in my band. I gotta like your proficiency if you're gonna be in my band, and I don't mind starting with something from scratch. You know what I mean? But I don't hold that. I don't expect that you to treat me better or to do anything because I play guitar well. It wouldn't be a good thing to get me off a charge if I did a crime, and it wouldn't be enough in my own mind to justify my existence. I would like you to like me because I'm likable and I do nice things without having an agenda to do it. And unfortunately for the haters and the few that are never like this, I have to prove this over and over. But I do prove it because I give them the better spots at the shows if I think they're a better band, or if my fans think that it's a better band. I don't have to be talked into it. I always nobody ever walks away without having an offer of money, and even on a benefit. And I try to do all this. All these songs I write. My whole point was to try to empower the music, everyone here, to be able to do better on your own. And I think a lot of people ended up depending on things like I get asked to make posters for shows more than I have shows. I mean, you don't know, and I won't take money for it. So, and the reason I won't take money for it is I don't want to do a better job on a show that I got paid for and make the promo pay out more than I would on my friends. If I was into the money part of this, if I thought for a minute I get paid for any of it, don't you think that I would have considered that? I mean, of course I did. I've turned down band playing positions that were salaried for a couple of tributes over the years. Nothing today, but I'm playing better now not today, but give me 2 weeks, I'll be past where I was, because I realize from where I was now, I've listened back to these songs and I can do better. I wasn't doing enough. Maybe this was a wake up call to get me to play so well that I amazed myself and just, I don't know, blow a fuse or something. I don't know. I can't imagine why the things that you treasure in life, when they go, just think you just remember the things that left your dead relatives if you cared for them, or my cat. I mourn that cat longer than I mourn my mother, and I'm still mourning him. I still cry when I think about it. I'm thinking about, I won't do it on hot stuff up there on the balloon. You know what I'm saying? Marrakesh was more than a cat. I had a deal with him about eternal life. You don't want to hear about that because it sounds judgmental. It's not. I'm a vegetarian. I don't like killing animals, any kind of animals. I don't like eating them. I know you do. I think 96 out of 100 of you haven't thought about it and don't think of it that way. And just through odd channels, I'm not. Well, it was a decision I made on a whim, and then it turned into a dictating behavior that, for the wrong reasons. They got me to be a Krishna. You know those Krishnas, the guys with the orange, and the shaved heads. So I was already mostly there, but long history. I'll be writing a book. I've written one book already called The Courage of the Cat. It's only available in Spanish, El Animo del Gato, because I don't have a publisher, but I had a Spanish guy that really loved it. He was actually Indian, Yaqui Indian from the reservation in Mexico, got trapped in upstate New York, and I was in jail for being caught with pot for a short time, and I ran into him, and what a experience that was. Wow, you have no idea. Teaching you about what was illusion. He had things. Just one of the most fascinating people I ever met in my life. And it was like Gandhi or something. And then, then he got out, and I got out, and we never saw each other again. He went back he was deported. That's right. They were waiting to take him back, and that was before there was ICE or any of that. All right. Well, my backdrop is a little bit askew, but everything will be back to normal soon. This was a test. Thank you very, very much. And come to our show, April 11th. What's before that? Anything? Do we have a show anywhere before April 11th? I don't know any other shows in April. If you want to stick them in the comments, I encourage you to do that. I would do it to you, even if you didn't give me permission on your live stream. So so I guess it's not really treat others as you want to be treated, but treat others as you want to be treated within the region of normalcy. Because I used to have people put their event in my event, and they just piss on you. They don't care, I applaud them for trying. My haters ain't gonna like this streak because now I'm back with a vengeance. I thought that I sucked 3 months ago, so I'm going to be playing better. And I got some ideas that you're not going to believe, and just throw them out there as I sign off. Here is local music karaoke, where this is not my idea. I told you the girl who brought me to the metal crowd was Erica Broker. She's dead now. She just died recently, but she is the one who started it. And they never did it with metal and rock bands. And I want to do it with that. And my singer is a karaoke songstress down in the border town of Sierra Vista. So I'm going to be expecting her to run one of these. And we might do it on one of the next couple shows. We also are having Celebrity Poker, Texas Hold'em, with the Valley celebrities. I can't get Scotty in to come. Joey Belladonna will come for $1,000 plus his airfare and chips. But it looks like we're going to have Brockway and Houck playing, and maybe the Reverend will come. Maybe Emily will pick up a hand. And we're going to be playing. We won't play for money. We'll play for charity or for nothing. But between bands, we're going to have a live stream. I even know the guy who's going to do it is volunteered to do it at all shows, and he doesn't even have to play it all. But it's Hector's drummer has got a system for doing multi-camera angles that we could have you see the cards of all the players. And there are a few ones. Kyle will play. We'll just have all and you'll be able to see your favorite musicians play. To me, these guys all are equal. I mean, not better than, not worse than, but if you gave all these great musicians in this area, and even the top 5% of them, let's say the real good ones that can smoke me or anybody on guitar, for instance, or the vocals, you give them the money so they don't have to work or do a single other thing in their life. And they're going to and they still don't sound as good as Kyle from I Don't Conform or any of the leads I heard come off of Empire Desire albums. These guys, we have more talent here because we're starved for attention. We have nothing. We have the lowest number of people signed to a record label of any other state, and I'm thinking, who's signing all the people in Hawaii? And and I think that might be all levels of music. We have a metal scene here that's indestructible, and during COVID, we got that reputation because we went out and found places, broke into them, and played, and had a crowd. Sometimes it's safety distances from each other. Blah, blah, blah. I've said too much. Nah, actually, you'll be hearing from me soon. I love you, Scott. I love you, Patty. I love you, all you guys who watch me. And I love you haters even more. So, I got haters. That's great. Great news. Beware.